The Oilers rookie camp kicked off today with 25 players in attendance. They started with fitness and medical testing here this morning at Rogers Place, and then later this afternoon they'll be heading over to Penticton. Among the 25 players includes this year's second-round selection, Bo Akey, but Tony, maybe one of the most notable players to watch this week is Xavier Bourgault.
Yeah, the 2021 first-round pick certainly headlines this camp roster heading to BC for this weekend's tournament, and I think he's going to have a pretty big weekend. Listen, he came into Edmonton on Sunday, took part in the captain's skate on Monday and Tuesday, and especially yesterday, Tuesday, he looked very, very good. What really stood out to me was his ability to get out of the corner with traffic. His agility was on full display. He created a couple of offensive chances, even buried one in the captain's skate yesterday, and I'm expecting him to take that early momentum heading into the weekend.
For sure, my goal is to start with a big rookie tournament in Penticton. I think I did it last year, went pretty well, but for sure I want to take another step this year, as I had a pro season behind my back last year, yeah.
And another prospect to keep an eye on, Tony, is Carter Savoy. He was talking about that jump from NCAA to pro hockey and the differences that he's noticed, but really how much it's also made him mature.
Yeah, remember, this is a player that won the national championship with the University of Denver in 2022, and he was a big reason for that. Had 23 goals, 45 points in 39 games, and then last year, he was battling some injury troubles. Of course, we saw him last year at this tournament get injured with a knee injury, and he was kind of battling through some injury woes throughout the year. Couldn't really get some traction offensively, and that's a big reason why we saw maybe a lower point total than we were expecting, but we're expecting a pretty big bounce-back season for him beginning this week in Penticton.
I think it's a little bit more of a business side. At school, you're devoted to the school, you're invested in the school. It's more of like a kind of that atmosphere. Now you're working for your life, your job. You're competing against men, trying to take their spot, trying to take their job. So you got to come in with a good attitude and just work your hardest. So.
All right, Paige, so we covered two offensive players. How about one player on the back end that's also been making some noise with his development since being drafted?
Yeah, Max Warner talked about how his draft day went. You never know how players spend their draft day battling those nerves, and especially players who are projected to go maybe a little bit later in the draft. He was taken in the 7th round, of course, and he said that he was able to occupy his mind with his friends, and he said it really worked for him.
I was on the golf course halfway through my round. One of my buddies had the draft on his phone, so found out about hole 12, and I don't think I got a par after that, that's for sure. I was a lot of double bogeys.
The 2021 7th-round pick has really been honing in on his development. There's been a lot of people really noticing the strides that he's been making and really turning some heads with that as well. If you're wondering how he feels coming into camp this week, this is how he felt about last year's experience.
I was thinking I was really blessed to be there.
And Paige will be able to see all three of these prospects and the rest of the 25-man roster take part in their first action on Friday against the Winnipeg Jets prospects. That is available on Oilers Plus. For Paige Martin, I'm Tony Brar signing off for Oilers TV.